of the Week is brought to you in part by the Long Beach Unified School District, Avid Electronics, and the Cervelo Sports Stop and Restaurant. Hi, everybody. My name is Willie Padilla. Back in 1988, there was a two-term Republican in the White House, Ronald Reagan. Elementary school kids are now in high school today, and of course, the Long Beach cable system then was called Simmons. And the more things change, the more they stay the same, they say. As in 1997, there is a two-term Democrat in the White House. Those elementary school kids from 1988 are in high school, and your cable company is now called Charter, and this is our 10th year of bringing you our Long Beach High School football game of the week. Another thing that hasn't changed is my color guy, that's Errol Parker. And Errol, this game that we've got, Fountain Valley Barons and the Wilson Bruins, pretty good matchup between two teams that are turning over.
Yes, both of these teams are rebuilding, Willie. We're looking at a Fountain Valley team that was devastated by graduation. They lost 3 of their top blue-chip linemen, and they've gone on to Division I college football. But this is a fine system under 7-year coach George Berg, and they are breaking in a new quarterback, John Sanders, and running back Morris. So from an offensive standpoint, this is the same old system, but they have some new players. And from a defensive standpoint, you can expect different multiple fronts and some blitzes and a whole bunch of things that might confuse the Wilson Bruins.
And the Fountain Valley Barons, a team that tied for the Sunset League title a year ago with 2 other teams, Esperanza and Los Alamitos. This is a good intersectional matchup for them, and you had the opportunity to speak with their head coach, George Berg, about today's matchup.
Coach, you lost a lot through graduation, lost 3 top linemen that went on to Division I colleges. What type of offensive team do you have tonight? I know it has to be inexperienced.
Our offensive line is inexperienced, without a doubt. We've had some real good juniors who worked hard in the offseason that are going to be starting. We have 3 juniors and 2 seniors. One senior was a starter last year, and expect a lot of leadership out of him to motivate and keep our offensive line together. It's not going to change what we do. We've kind of have what we do. We're going to try to do it as well as we can, and these kids have worked real hard to get to this point. So I expect a lot out of them.
The Delaware wing tee can be tricky, especially early in the football game. How do you coach your team from a defensive standpoint to cope with the Delaware wing tee?
Well, the first thing is have good key progression and sell out the football. When you identify where the ball is, that's the key, not the fake in the game, but where the ball is, that you have everybody running. We got to have 11 guys committed to working from snap to whistle full speed, and that's hopefully that we covered up that way.
Good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you very much.
At the outset, we spoke about the more things changing, the more they stay the same. Case in point, the Wilson Bruins. Here's a team with a new head coach, still running that Delaware wing tee.
That's right. This is the 5th head coach at Long Beach Wilson that has run the Delaware wing tee, but only one thing different. They're going to give the ball to LaJuan Edwards about 30 times, according to Greg Gibson, who's the new coach. And LaJuan the question is, Willie, can Juan at 5'9", 160 pounds be durable enough to carry the ball that many times? Also, from a defensive standpoint, Isaiah Sepau will be replacing Jermaine Mack, who had an impact on defense, and he's a kind of personality that you really want on defense because he's dedicated and he's really mean. But Long Beach Wilson has a fine football team, but they have some inexperienced talent, and they'll be better as they go.
In fact, Long Beach Wilson, a team that finished in 2nd place to Long Beach Poly last year in the Moore League, they advanced to the CIF playoffs, losing in the first round, but a very talented team indeed. This year's team also talented, just not nearly as experienced, as head coach Greg Gibson had an opportunity to speak with our Errol Parker about.
Coach, is your maiden voyage, your first game at Wilson High School, even though you were assistant last year, and it's a big game against Fountain Valley, a team that has multiple sets, a team that can throw a lot of different stuff at you from a defensive standpoint. How do you prepare for a team like this?
Well, you know, they're a very good football team. They've been a good football team, a good program for 20 years. George Berg is an excellent coach. It's going to be a tough game, you know, but we're ready. I mean, you know, you prepare for that by watching film of their last year's games and their different sets, and we make adjustments defensively to that. Offensively, our blocking schemes stay the same. Our rules stay the same, so they can jump into any formation they want, and we've got an answer for it.
Coach, you're coming off a really fine season last year, but you lost a lot through graduation. You have to replace Jermaine Mack and some other guys. How do you replace Jermaine Mack at both sides of the football? And I know the answer, but tell the viewers.
Well, you can't. You can't replace a guy that goes for 1,900 yards and 22 touchdowns and makes 120 tackles. I mean, he was a special young man, and, you know, he's over at Cerritos College right now. I expect him to do great things over there. But what you do is that, you know, we have what we think is a great, young team. I mean, we're inexperienced, but we're not untalented. We have a lot of talent, and they just are lacking game experience. I mean, when you lose Derek Martin, Terry Charles, Ray Tapuli, Danny Phillips, Jamie Ashley, I could go on and on. It's, those guys were great football players, but I've got a bunch of great, hard-working young players who the only thing they lack is just varsity game experience.
Well, good luck tonight, Coach.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, Errol, my friend, after 10 years of high school football, over 100 football games covered, I guess the one thing that we can say about high school football is that anything can happen, and that's especially the case with two teams in transition.
That's right. I couldn't have said better myself, Willie, because both of these coaches don't really know what's going to happen tonight. They come from good systems where they're running the same kind of offense and defense that they have for many years. But when you have inexperienced players, 15 and 16 years old, in the first opening game, a lot of mistakes will happen. But we have a lot of talent at both sides of the football, and we might see some big plays tonight.
Well, for the Fountain Valley Barons and for the Wilson Bruins, as well as our broadcast crew here at Charter Communications, it is our opening kickoff coming up right after this break. My name is Willie Padilla. Along with me, Errol Parker. Stay with us. The Long Beach High School Football Game of the Week is next. Along with me, Errol Parker, and the rest of our Charter Communications sports team, led by our producer-director, Rob Meckhamson. And as we begin our coverage, we'll go to the center of the field where the referee, Jack Huntsinger, will get together with the captains of both the Fountain Valley Barons, the visiting team out of the Sunset League, and a good test for the Wilson Bruins, a team that's very raw, very untested, but very talented.
Well, this Wilson team has backed down to no one even before Greg Gibson was the head coach, and they will not start backing down now. They have a talented team. They came in second in the Moore League last year and lost a heartbreaker in the first round of the CIF Southern Section Division I playoffs.
Well, anytime you lose in the playoffs, it's always a heartbreaker, but it's always the goal to get there at the beginning of the season. And that's one of the things that Coach Gibson for the Wilson Bruins has on his mind, is getting his team ready by playing a very difficult schedule. And it begins here with one of the tri-champions of the Sunset League from 1996, the Fountain Valley Barons. They'll also get a test at the end of non-league play when they face another one of those tri-champions, Los Alamitos at Gar High School. That's going to be a great matchup.
And sandwiched in between that is La Mirada, who is also, I think, a finalist. So they have a tough game. And sometimes Lou Zinger, who's also their opponent in the preseason, can come out and play you tough also. I had a chance, Willie, to visit Fountain Valley the other day and talk to Coach George Berg. And he's in his 7th year, and he has a fine coaching staff. Now, you know, Coach Milner, who was at El Toro, used to coach at Fountain Valley, and they run some of the same defensive patterns.
But we're looking at the Wilson Bruins, and I'll tell you what, I love the uniforms. I like the look. It's kind of old school with the big, bold edges and all that. It's got that 1960s USC look. I think a 1962 national champs, John McKay.
And like that USC team, the Bruins will run the football down your throat. They're going to feature LaJuan Evans, Willie, who may run 30 times today from the double wing T offense.
In fact, I saw Al Taylor, principal of Wilson High School, prior to today's game, and mentioned to him, how long ago did you start this offense that they'll be using today? And it was something like 5 coaches and 10 years ago. So at the outset in our pregame, I mentioned the more things change, the more they stay the same. And our broadcast, I think our cable company's changed a few times, but we're still here.
And as such, the Fountain Valley Barons run their same multiple set, the I formation. They run the tight end on the weak side of the field. They run triples, wide receivers. They do a lot of things they've been doing for a long time.
Luis Brambilla, who will be also the quarterback for the Bruins, will kick it off as Fountain Valley will be set to receive to start the action. Back to receive is Sean McCarron. He's deep. He's got a couple of wings. Number 32 out there, Eric Ramirez alongside him, Doug Foster on the near side. And the 1997 season is about to get underway. It's fielded at the 10. McCarron gets around right side, hit once, slips a tackle, down the side, still not brought out of bounds, finally out of bounds beyond the 40. Oh my, what a way to start things. We'll look at the starting lineup first for Fountain Valley. Jason Morris, the quarterback. Taking a look at his backfield, Sanders, Otis, and Morris. The receivers, Carter Perez, Fry, And the offensive line for Fountain Valley, this could be the key. San Filippo, Ramaika, Hamid, Hemkin, and Fano. 1st and 10 from the 41. Big return of 31 yards. The give goes to McCarran. He goes nowhere. Meanwhile, this defense for the Wilson Bruins and really got a job to do to stop Fountain Valley. But we'll take a look at the kickoff once again, Errol, as some sloppy tackling by special teams for Wilson.
Absolutely, Willie. He tried to go through a seam, and looks like a little hold over there, but he slipped a couple of tackles, and he almost broke. He just didn't have enough room.
Very near a face mask, but good run by McCarran. Sanders in the backfield. In fact, it was Sanders who ran that last handoff, not McCarran, and flags are down. That could be against the Bruins for jumping. Offside as the defense, Evans, Jones, Brown, and Johnson, the secondary, along with Clifford Jacobs, as they'll play with 3 safeties. Linebackers, Sipao and Bell. The line, Flaherty, Watson, Casey, and Ransom. Big job to do, and they just made it a little bit tougher by giving up 5 yards on the penalty. 2nd and 4. Ball at the 47, excuse me, and across midfield goes Fountain Valley, and they got a first down.
Fountain Valley has been running from the I formation in the first 3 series, times they've had their hands on the football, but you'll see different kinds of things with them. You'll see 4 wide receivers in their set. You'll see trips on one side of the field with the tight end on the weak side when they're on the left hash or right hash. It's a multiple offensive set for Fountain Valley.
Football across midfield, now at the 46, as they enter Wilson territory for the first time.
Double tight end set.
Thus far, it's been all running, and as I say that, first pass of the game, and it's complete. Out beyond the 40, nice pass by Morris as he hits his receiver out on the flat. That would be number 42, Jeff Fry. Nice pickup on 1st and 10.
Nice little short timing pattern, 3 drop step as he fades back and hits a little timing pattern on the wide side of the field. Showed a strong arm that time. There's a double tight end set. There was no play action. He just stops back and looks right in there and throws a nice pass.
So a pickup of 8 on the play as the pass complete. So it is 2nd and 3. Make it along 2, one or the other. The Barons have to go to the 35 for a first down. It's a keeper by Morris as he runs the option, goes out of bounds, but he's got a first down.
This young man, Willie, was the 100 and the 200-yard champion in track and field in the Sunset League. So not only can he throw the football in timing patterns, he can also run it. That's another dimension.
Watch the run here.
That was a straight-out run. There was no hesitation, and he holds that ball with 2 hands and gets to the sideline.
Gets the ball to the 30 as he picks up 8 on the play. First down and 10 for Fountain Valley, and this is a nice little drive as it's consumed better than a couple of minutes from the start of the ball game. Straight drop back by Morris. He's looking long. He's got a man wide open. It's complete. Caught inside the 10. The catch is made by Perez. The coverage was late.
They had 2 wide receivers on the right side of the field, and they ran a little crossing pattern, and Sanders had enough time to throw the football.
And a flag down for a late hit piling on. You're going to see this because remember, in high school football, the player is down, so Perez is down. No need for that hit.
There was no need for that hit for Jamel Jones, who was the rover, and he probably was a little frustrated because he was confused on the coverage.
So the pass complete to the 6. Tack on the penalty.
What were you saying?
And then the personal foul moves it forward just 3 yards. So in a way, if you're going to commit that kind of foul, best to do it there because only half the distance of the goal. Football at about the 3. First down and goal. Man in motion. That's Carter. Morris gives but the play strung out to the left and brought down as not being able to get in was Sanders. So far, the defensive line doing the job.
Yes, they have been clicking real well. You mean the offensive line, Willie, of the
defensive
the
line, because they stopped Sanders a couple of times.
Okay.
But that secondary got burned.
The offensive line, as I said at the top of the show, needed to be rebuilt. They had 3 Division I blue chippers who went to Division I to play college football, and so now they're rebuilding their heart and soul of their offense, the offensive line.
Again, the give goes to the, but this time the first back through, that would be the fullback, and it's a touchdown for Fountain Valley. Getting in is their fullback, and Fountain Valley takes the lead. In with the touchdown, number 33, Woodrow Otis. And they just played smash mouth football right there.
They certainly did, and they mixed up their plays on this drive as we look at the coaching staff of the Fountain Valley Barons. They started on their own 45-yard line.
Flags down as the kick is up and through, but it's not going to count. They're talking to Otis, captain of the offense, at least for the special teams, and there might be a penalty against Wilson.
Well, Fountain Valley has made it look pretty easy, mixing the pass and the run in this first series. I think they started on about their 43-yard line or something like that, Willie, and they marched the rest of the way in about 6 plays.
It is offside against the Bruins. Declined. They'll kick it again. In a way, they decline it because they prefer their kicker to kick from where he does on a usual basis for an extra point. Why move him and change whatever flow he might have? So with 8:35 left in the first quarter, the Barons take the lead. They've got a 6-0 lead, trying to make it 7. As on for the extra point, Aaron Carter, but again, flags are down. What have we got? Check with Jack Hunsinger. Again, they're going to decline it, so it's against the Bruins. Again, it's offside, and again, it's declined. Well, let's see. Woodrow Otis, I don't know, if you take a look behind Jack Hunsinger, number 33, Otis, not saying safe. He's saying this time they're going to accept the penalty. Should have taken it both times, and then they could have ran the football for 2. So they'll take the offside on the second time. This time kick is up, and the kick is good. 7-0 with 8:35 left in the first quarter as Fountain Valley is able to go 59 yards, and they do it on 7 plays, covering roughly 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
We saw the versatility of Jason Morris, the quarterback. Not only did he run for some nice yardage, Willie, he was 2 for 2 in the passing and 1 for a nice gain. In fact, if his wide receiver had not tripped down, it would have been 6 early.
Actually, that was a pretty nice catch, and I think going away, he had to make the play. 7-0 in favor of Fountain Valley, as the Barons, all kinds of things to cheer about, including this touchdown run. Watch the front line get movement. Otis gets the football. Heck, by then the offensive line is just laying down on the Bruins. Dare I say, you might have been able to get in on that.
Yeah, very nice blocking up front. The Bruins in the spring tried the Chicago Bear 7-man front, and they thought it was a little bit too complicated with a lot of guys going both ways, and they went back to the 44, and that's what they're in right now from a defensive standpoint.
Don't be offside!
Well, on the opening kickoff of the game, Fountain Valley was able to get a 31-yard return from Sean McCarron. Now the Bruins are hoping for something similar, as they've got 2 men back. It's a kind of a squib kick. It's Lawan Edwards who bobbles and picks it up at the 2. Edwards gets hit, dropped at the 10. So from the 3, gets to the 10, and we'll take a look at the offense as Louis Rambillo will start off at quarterback for the Bruins. He'll have in the backfield with him fullback Sapeo, Stan Evans at one back, Lawan Edwards at the other. Tight ends, Will Warren, Dan Petroff. The offensive linemen, tough job for them, Anthony Casey, carry dip. Jason Flaherty, Ryan Ransom, and Jorge Bernal. They've got to key the blocking on this Delaware wing T offense to try and spring the skill guys. And they'll begin from their own 10. Goes back to Edwards up the middle. He's got some good yardage and a first down. How about that for Lawan Edwards on the opening play? He's one broken tackle away from going the distance. And it's a first down for the Bruins on their opening play.
They came from the I formation, and it was a nice seam that was blocking Dip and Flaherty. Made some nice blocks up front on the left side of that line.
14 yards on the play, first down and 10 for the Bruins from the 24-yard line. Well, that'll get you out of a hole in a hurry. 7:58 left, clock ticking. Pitch goes back, it's Edwards again. He'll get it 30 times. They keep it up like this, and he gets beyond the 30.
These offensive linemen, Willie, oh, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Well, we'll talk about the defensive secondary. You haven't seen anything yet. Doug Foster, Jason Perez, Aaron Carter, and Ryan Serafian. Tim Berg, Woodrow Otis are the linebackers. And then the defensive line are